What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Flippin Bats. Man, there is a lot to talk about. These rule changes, they're happening, and they're crazy. We're going to talk all about them, player reactions, manager reactions. I have my top 5 rules I'd like to see implemented in baseball. DH tiers today, some WBC news. We got quite the show coming at you. Let's get to it.
It's a blowout. 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball. Deep center field. It is gone. Home run. And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
It feels like it's starting to happen, Alex. We're 7 days away from Cuba and the Netherlands taking the field for Game 1 of the WBC. Xander Bogaerts, Luis Robert, 7 days away from that. Baseball started. These rule changes are causing quite a stir around the game of baseball. Some injury, a lot of injury news with some big stars happening. And so the biggest news of all, we got quite the studio audience here today. My parents.
Can we show it? Can we show them?
My mom and dad are here propped up.
We got a full live studio audience, front row seating. They are in some comfy chairs, staring right at you, Ben.
Propped up like,
right here.
like
Proud
they're in
parents.
a movie theater. Speaking of movie theater, by the way, I was begging my dad for 6 months to go watch Top Gun. Did you watch
Oh, yeah.
it? Great.
Oh, amazing.
Incredible. Begged him to go watch it in a theater because
Yes.
it's a movie you have to see in a theater. And he finally watched it on an airplane screen on the way out here with earbuds.
Polar opposite.
Polar opposite.
Polar opposite.
Polar opposite of what
But
we
what'd you
needed.
think, Dad? It was great. And
It was
yeah,
great, he
how
said.
appropriate for a plane to be watching it on a plane.
So, baseball, we're about three or 4 days into these spring training games.
Oh,
happening.
yeah. It is in full effect, and these new rules are coming at us really fast. You mentioned it at the top of the show, 3 big ones. The biggest one that really went viral this weekend is the pitch clock.
I don't think people really expect, as you said, it just got thrown at. I don't think people expected it to be like, whoa,
I
this
didn't
just
either.
happened really quickly.
I didn't either. I think the big viral moment, obviously, the Boston and Atlanta game, like 9th inning, bases loaded, tied game, full count, called out.
Called out.
I think that needed to happen early for everyone to understand it's here and you got a month to figure it out.
So here's what I'll say about it. I think the way we see it right now, and just to explain to everybody what's happening, three rules have been implemented. The main one being the pitch clock, and then there's larger bases, and then there's a restriction of the shift. The pitch clock being the most in your face and obvious. With nobody on base, the pitch clock is at 15 seconds. And there's a lot that goes into this pitch clock. It's not just for the pitcher to throw a strike or throw a pitch. The batter also needs to be in the box by 8 seconds, which is pretty quickly. And I'm gonna go over here to this batter's box right behind me in a few minutes and do a demo and showcase just how fast that is. But this rule is right up in our face. And according to Major League Baseball, in the first weekend of games, there were 69 pitch timer violations through the first 35 games. 69 violations. Now, the result of all of this has been exactly what I think baseball wanted, which was faster games and more action involved. Through those first 35 games, the average time of game is 2 hours and 39 minutes, whereas
Wow.
the average the year prior in spring training was 3 hours and 1 minute. So, I mean, we're talking about a 22 to 23 minute difference in the average game time. Only like 6 games even went over 3 hours, and they were all under 3 hours and 6 minutes. So, there's a lot of star player reactions here, kind of all over the map, but my immediate reaction that I want to make sure is clarified here is we're not cutting out action of the game. It's not like we're taking this game and cutting out action. In fact, there's more action, and we're just cutting out the pitcher walking around the mound for a minute and a half before throwing another pitch, and the batter stepping out and taking a long time. So This is a tweet from Jack Harris. Says, pretty unanimous reaction from Dodgers coaches and players just now. Pitch clock wasn't too tough to adjust to and definitely felt like it sped up the game. So quite the impact if you were watching games over the weekend. It's impossible not to notice. It's in your face. It's quick. It's action-packed. And I don't believe what we see right now is what we're going to be seeing in the playoffs this year. I think it's just, hey, we're serious about this, and we're gonna call it like preseason NFL games. When refs are told, hey, we're gonna call this a lot this year, they do it in the preseason, and then come regular season playoffs, it's more a little more lenient, but it's aggressive.
Anything that's new and a big change, especially with timing, right? Because a lot of the time, as you mentioned, pitchers are taking a minute and a half to walk around the mound. Batters are taking their time, taking a timeout the moment they get into the box. Baseball needed to speed up the game. That was the biggest thing. We want more offense, and we need to speed up the game. And we are seeing just in the first weekend how big of an impact this new rule is having, and it's going to take time to adjust. Anything that's new is going to take time, and you're going to be 50-50. I've got so many comments of people hating it, thinking it's ruining the game, and people who love it because it's speeding up the game.
I did a Twitter poll.
Yeah.
I want to see I did a Twitter poll, and it only gave people 2 options.
Yes.
I said, through the first 3 days of Major League Baseball games, the pitch clock has been in existence. You can only pick one of these 2 options. Do you love it or do you hate it?
Yeah.
And I just checked on it. So what do you think the results of the poll would have been?
Just going through my comments when I asked for feedback, I should have done a poll. It was pretty 50-50 on hate and love.
54% love.
Yeah.
46% hate is where it is as of right now through a few thousand votes. So that seems to be the consensus. And to me, look, here's my view on it. One, the fact that it's 54-46 at this point is really good news.
Yeah.
I think this is the way baseball is going to be. Baseball is always the last sport to evolve. Baseball is stuck in its ways in many ways, and it has to evolve. It has to change with the times, and it is finally starting to do that. And you're going to get people that absolutely hate it, and you're going to get those people that say, hey, I paid money to go see a game and now you're cut. Okay, if you paid to go see a pitcher walk around a mound and
that one made me laugh,
scratch his head for a minute and a half, then what are you really there for?
Yeah.
So I'm for it, but I'm not there. It needs to evolve and it needs to change. It's not perfect.
No, nothing's gonna be. And this is the first weekend that we're actually seeing it happen.
Right.
And I know you have a very personal experience to this rule. And you tweeted, was it a couple weeks ago, the worst call of all time? And you have a personal experience with this rule.
I was not only I was the first player in the history of professional baseball to have a violation of the pitch clock. And I use violation very lightly. It was an awful call.
Yeah.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the name of the umpire, too. His name was Justin. And I remember that because nobody likes it, Justin. So it was the first day it was in existence ever. And I get into the box. It's a big part of the game. Second and third, 2 outs is a 2-2 counter or 1-2 counter, something like that. My team was down a run. I get in the box. I'm doing what I normally do, and I'll explain it. I can show it behind me in a couple of minutes, but I was doing what I normally do, and all of a sudden the umpire just comes out and says, hey, time out. You're out, and points at me. And I was like, what do you mean I'm out?
You were in the box.
Right.
You were ready to go.
I was looking at the pitcher, and he wasn't even set yet, and I got called out. And this ended up being used as an example and sent to Major League Baseball, and they're like, well, you can't do this. It's pretty bad. And here's the video here in the wall. It was the worst call in history besides maybe the Armando Galarraga not perfect game call at first base. But I was dumbfounded. And the only thing I'm mad at here is that I didn't get thrown out. I never got thrown out of a game in my life. And this was the time to do it. I mean, come on.
If there was ever a time.
You
should have flipped the bat.
We're gonna see some stuff this year, and there's some star players that have come out talking about this, kind of all over the map. First of which being Max Scherzer, who said, "I can work extremely quick now, and I can work extremely slow. There's another layer here to be able to mess with the hitter's timing. He likes it a lot." Aaron Judge, I like it. I think you can kind of play around with it a little bit. I think it definitely speeds up the game. Anything that kind of keeps the pitcher moving and on the go and hopefully keep him out of breath, I'm looking forward to it. Kyle Tucker of the Houston Astros said he felt rushed and that it benefits the pitcher. These guys are the best pitchers in the world, and you're giving them more of an advantage, and you have to rush into the box. It takes away some of the thought process that goes into hitting. I think it could maybe be a little longer instead of stepping out and stepping right back in the box. Dansby Swanson, new Chicago Cub. The pitch clock is pretty freaking quick. Proposed that it be moved to 18 seconds instead of 15 seconds with nobody on base. I'm hoping it's not the end-all be-all, he said. I think that there's definitely some tweaks that can be made, but it's going to be a change for everybody. We can sit here and complain about it, but at the end of the day, we're just going to have to embrace it and be able to put together our best performance because it doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon.
Exactly.
That's kind of my thoughts. So
let's see you.
I also
like
need
up
to explain
against
The worst call ever.
Okay.
So
back.
we'll do both. I'll
Okay.
head over here. I'll explain this new rule and just show how fast 15 seconds really can be. So let me grab a bat here.
Now explain when it starts too. Like
Yeah. Okay. Let's head over.
when does the 15 seconds start?
First off, my call. Let me just
Yeah.
clarify to everybody that thinks I was actually not alert and ready. I was in the box, right? And I was doing my same routine. I was waving the bat like this, looking at the pitcher, and all of a sudden the guy comes out and tells me I'm out for not being alert and ready. And I'm like, how alert and ready can I be when I'm waiting for the guy to get his sign and I'm staring right into his soul?
You're in the box.
Of course, I'm in
Yeah.
the box. It was ridiculous. But I digress. That was probably 6 years ago at this
We'll
point.
let it go.
All right, this new rule, okay? So I'm in the box, okay? Pitch comes in, I swing and miss, whatever it may be. 15 seconds goes on the clock, and that timer starts when the pitcher gets the ball back. So pitcher gets the ball back, I step out and get my sign, okay? Got my sign. Guess what? By the time I step back in the box,
5 seconds.
the timer's at 7 seconds. So you really have to change things up. So let's start this timer over now. Let's put it at 15 seconds. Pitcher gets the ball back. Okay, start the timer. I get my sign. Okay, take a deep breath. I get back in. I have one time to wave my bat up. And next thing you know, timer's at 8 seconds and I have to be looking at the pitcher. This timer, 15 seconds, the pitcher has to throw the ball by 0, right? I, as in the batter, have to be looking at the pitcher and in the box by 8 seconds. That's not my favorite part of this rule, but I do understand it because it's you have to be ready for the pitcher to be able to throw the ball at some point. I'm kind of the belief of Dansby Swanson, whereas I'm fine with this. With a runner on base, the timer goes to 20 seconds. With nobody on base right now, it's at 15 seconds. So let me show you a very easy example here, and something that came to mind is for me, who was a hitter my whole career. Let's say I'm facing the guy that throws 100 miles an hour, which happens all the time in baseball, right? I'm in here, I'm getting ready to swing. Oh my God, it's 100 miles an hour up and in at my head. I fall down on the ground. Pitcher gets the ball back. Timer starts. I'm coming to terms with the fact that my life just flashed in front of my eyes. Am I still alive? Okay, yes. Let me get my sign. Okay. Oh my God, I'm not even close to ready again. So this 15 seconds is really only 7 seconds for the batter. You have 7 seconds once the pitcher catches the ball to get your sign, do what you need to do, and get in the box by that 8-second mark. I would like to see that more like 18 seconds. There's a lot of guys that come to mind here. One, Nomar Garciaparra would have never survived in baseball if this were the case years ago. But now I saw it the other day. Pete Alonso is a big meditation guy. In between every pitch, he steps out, does a little meditation. He can't do that anymore. So what we saw the other day, he was leading off the inning. He sprinted in from first base, got his helmet on, and went on deck and did his meditation on deck. So this is going to be something that everybody's going to have to adjust to. I would probably rather see it at about 18 seconds. But again, I do understand everything going on here, and it's going to be a learning curve for everybody involved because 15 seconds really is a lot. One thing I would like to add about this rule, I think there's a lot of factors here that nobody's thinking of yet because it's spring training and it's 80 degrees and it's beautiful. But let's say it's pouring down rain. Pouring down rain outside. My helmet's dripping with rain. My bat is soaking wet. I need to wipe it off somewhere in between my legs, get it dry. Next thing you know, I do that. Let's run through it right now. We got the timer. Let's start it over. Okay, 15 seconds. I swing and miss. Ball back to the pitcher. He catches it. Okay, my helmet's wet. I need to dry my bat off. Okay, I need to get the sign. I need to rub some dirt on my hands a little bit, dry off my hands. Get the sign, okay, step in the box, boom, let's go. 3 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
3 seconds left. That's strike one.
But you have to remember, every single player is dealing with this. Every single batter, every single pitcher. So everyone has to adjust. This is something new that every single player has to adjust to.
I agree. And I think, and I do agree with that. I think there's factors here. And my point being, one, I would like to see it for right now with nobody on base at 18 seconds. And two, I would like to see a world in which, and we see it sometimes in the NFL, when something happens, we see the ref bump back up the play clock. Hey, bump it back up, put it at 25 seconds. I think we're going to need a little bit of feel from umpires, which is something I'm very worried about because umpires don't have any feel, and they're the absolute worst. And the problem is, over the last 2 or 3 years, umpires, I feel like, have gotten more and more egos involved here. So now we're just giving umpires another objective, okay, this is of the umpire's discretion. Oh, great. When was the last time they got anything right under their own discretion? I mean, so now we're going to see, okay, the timer hit 8 seconds. Okay, well, this umpire's having a bad day, and you yelled at me my last at-bat, so, it just hit 8 seconds, strike one. And then we're going to have umpires that until it turns to 7 seconds. It's going to be a whole thing. We're going to need to figure it out. But as I just demonstrated, this was my first time running through it as well on this show. I'll do it one more. I'll go through my exact normal routine and see where I was pretty quick. I got in. I'd be here. Let's go through a swing and miss. Pitcher gets the ball back. I'd step out, take a second, get my sign, okay, step back in, touch the plate, look up at the pitcher, and that's 8 seconds on the dot.
The dot.
It is very, very quick.
It's going to take adjusting.
It is.
So now that you've taken a couple practice swings and situations with this new rule, what would you grade it?
So my grade here, I'm going to grade all of these new rules, this being the most prominent. My grade on the pitch clock rule as it sits right now is a B+. I like it.
Yeah.
But it does need the work. And I just kind of demonstrated showed what I would like. I would like it to be 18 seconds with a runner on base. We can't find ourselves in a position during the regular season or playoffs where what you mentioned the other day, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, tie game, full count. Oh, pitch violation, strike 3, you're out.
Yeah.
That can't happen.
We don't want to see a regular season game ending that way.
So that sort of stuff can't happen. So we're going to have to figure out like the process of when do you bump the clock up, if it's raining outside, if a guy just got brushed back with 100, like let him collect his soul back first before he steps in the box.
Well, yeah, if he falls to the ground, because we see that a lot, pitch is high and in, almost hits you in the face, a lot of players drop to the ground. There's got to be a little cushion there.
Yeah.
When you get back up.
So yeah, I am for it. I am for trying it. As I said, the game of baseball needs to evolve. Every sport has evolved, and baseball is starting to. And I think all in all, whether you like it or not, it's not going anywhere.
No.
It's going to be here, and I think this is a rule where 5 years down the road, we're like, oh my God, baseball used to play with the pitcher taking 2 minutes in between. I don't know if you saw it before we move on to the next rule.
Yes.
I tweeted the other day a video that was Pedro Baez pitching, and he threw a ball, got the ball back, and there was a video intertwined in it, I guess, of there was this one.
Jose
Altuve hitting an inside the park home run. And it was how many inside the park home runs can Jose Altuve hit before Pedro Baez throws another pitch? The answer was about 6.5.
Which is crazy.
He ran 26 bases.
Yeah.
In the time it took Pedro Baez to throw a pitch. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We're cutting that out. So I'm for it. I think it will ultimately be a good thing. And here's the video now if you're watching. It was insane. So B plus,
Okay.
room for improvement,
Yeah.
tweaks a little bit, and I think baseball is willing to. What Ali Marmol said, the manager of the Cardinals, they're in constant communication with MLB, and MLB is constantly getting feedback and tweaking things and talking to the teams. So what we see right now, I
Yeah.
don't believe is what we see in the playoffs, and I think that's a good thing.
Everything that they're changing and they're implementing is trying to speed the game up and get more offense, which leads us to our second rule, the shift restrictions.
Yeah, this is interesting for me because I was always one for, 5 years ago, if you had asked me this, I would say, well, baseball, there's 9 players out on the field, and you should be allowed to put them wherever you want. But things changed in the last few years, whereas, the analytics can literally tell you where a guy is going to hit the ball 90% of the time. And if you're part of the crew that says, well, just hit it the other way, it's not really fair to say. I don't know if you've played baseball at a high level or hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. You can't tell me to hit a ball between the first baseman and the second baseman and things will open up. No, you're just trying to do what you do best. So the restriction of the shift, the main emphasis of the rules here are you have to have 2 infielders on each side of second base. And you can have them wherever you want on each side of the base, but no more 3, sometimes 4
Every single
infielders on the
infielder on
right
one
side
side
of the infield for
Yeah.
a lefty. There's no more of that. We've already seen the benefit. Matt Olson, for instance, had a couple hits last year that would have been clear hits right into the shift in spring training. He's already had 2 that would have been outs last year. So this will promote more offense. And my thought, what really changed my mind here over the last couple of years was, 1, just watching the game of baseball, but 2, for those people that are like, how you can put your defenders anywhere, look at every other sport, okay? Imagine in basketball if you had a guy named Shaquille O'Neal and he was allowed to stand under the basket every single second of the game, catch the ball and lay it in.
You're not getting baskets.
Guess what? You had to change the
Yeah.
rule. You can't allow that to happen. 3 seconds. You got to get out of the paint before you can go back in. The NFL, you can't have everybody lined up on one side of the line. You have to have ineligible people on the line or eligible people. There's all of these rules to make the game more fair.
Yeah.
That's what this is. I gave it a B.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's fair. You understand both sides of it because in every sport, you're trying to find an advantage. And if you have an advantage, you do it as long as you can until they say you can't do it anymore. So every team was doing exactly what they were supposed to do.
Yeah. And
But
they
it's
had
time.
to rein it back in.
Yeah, now it's time you just...
And it'll promote it. It will promote more offense.
It will.
There's no doubt about that. It's specifically for these big lefties. So
Yeah,
I'm excited.
it's going to be great, which also kind of leads in more offense into rule number 3, the bigger bases. This is going to help with more stolen bases.
I already saw one of the first games I watched the spring training. There were 2 stolen bases in the same inning. So this rule, what's not to love about it? It's fine. The bases are bigger, okay? That's the rule. So it helps with injuries. No more of the one of the plays that I got really tired of seeing. Replay wasn't implemented in baseball to catch the guy that dives into second and his left pinky finger lifted a centimeter off of the base or came off the back of the base by half an inch and then he got back on, but the tag was still on him. He's out. Guess what? These bases are going to be easier. There's more to hold on to. There won't be any of that. There will be less chance of injury because there's more room around the bases. And the length between home plate and first base, third and home, and first to second, and second to third, all of them
Little shorter.
is inches shorter.
Yeah.
Meaning those bang-bang plays at first, you will have a little more of a chance to beat that out. There will be more stolen bases. Fine. Completely fine with it. My grade, an A.
I love it. I'm for anything that's going to create more offense and speed up the game. All 3 of these are doing that. And we saw it in full effect this weekend.
I am very excited to see it take place in the regular season. As I think the number I mentioned was 69 in the first 35 game violations.
So meaning almost every game had at least 1, maybe 2 or 3, pending which games had it. So it's a learning curve.
Fast forward to the regular season, that number is going to be way down. Fast forward to the playoffs, if these rules are the exact same, that number is going to be even further down. Fast forward a few years, we might see one violation. Like, you get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's a learning curve, and nothing makes you learn more than standing in the box and some umpire named Justin calling you out inexplicably.
You got to learn hard.
Yeah.
That's how you learn.
By
You
the way-
got to have to fall on your face and be like, okay, I'm not going to do that again.
Fun end to
Yeah.
this story.
Okay.
This umpire,
Are you friends with him now?
like a year ago, direct messaged me on Instagram because I
What'd
had
he
like
say?
posted it, and he's like, ha
Yeah.
ha ha, hey Ben, it's me, that umpire that made the
No.
call. I'm like, ha ha ha, Justin, we're not friends. Don't ever message me. So
Somebody holds a grudge. That's okay. You're allowed to. That was
Yeah.
a big moment.
it was.
Big negative moment in your baseball career. But let's have some fun because we're talking rules. So let's put on your hat, your
Okay.
commissioner hat. If you could change or rules or anything around the game, what are 5 things you would implement? And let's start with number 5. What
right.
do you want to see?
So just changes in the spirit of new rules.
Yes,
just
fun.
changes
Just have some
I would
fun.
like to see
Yeah.
to the game of baseball. At number 5, an all-star game skills competition.
Ooh.
Gone are the days of these TikTok stars in a celeb game or this person that we have no idea who this is
Yeah.
in a celebrity softball game that is recorded the day prior and then on TV and nobody's watching it. Get that out of here. All-star game skills contest. These players that are the biggest freak athletes in
Yeah.
the world, put them out on the field. Don't do things that
Would hurt
have
them.
a chance of injury, like
Yeah.
seeing how hard they can throw a ball.
Yeah.
But like a 60-yard dash.
Yeah.
Or a catcher pop time challenge where all the catchers in the All-Star game catch the ball and see how fast they can get it down to second base. Fastest one wins. Outfield throw accuracy, where you're in the outfield and you have this thing at home plate. And the thing I in travel ball tournaments, we used to have this where there's like this canvas set up at home plate and there's
Yeah.
a point system. And in the very center, it's like a bullseye.
Yeah.
In the very center, you get the most points. Seeing what outfielders can throw from the outfield and see how many points they can get. A robbing home runs challenge where you have a jugs machine, a pitching machine set
Yeah.
up to perfectly throw the ball where it's within a 2-foot radius of going over the fence and seeing what guys can rob home runs great. A wiffle ball game with team captains.
Yeah.
Skills contest.
Anything that we see it NBA All-Star weekend, NHL, we just saw it with the Pro Bowl weekend. They kind of mixed things up and had like a skills competition.
Be great.
But the way to make it good and great is have money involved. Whoever wins gets to donate X amount to a charity of their choice, something like that. 'Cause that's how you're going to get 110% from these players
Yep.
and make it fun. I
Right.
like it.
So
I'm here
you're
for
on
it.
board with
I'm
my
on
number
board with
5.
that.
Good.
Number 4, what you got?
Number 4, a salary floor.
Yes.
Without
Yes.
the implementation of a salary cap. Just a salary floor. What you could also say here is get owners that love baseball and are trying to win, but the sad reality here is that not every owner is trying his hardest to spend his money and win baseball games and put a good product out on the field. Just a salary floor. What can't happen? Steve Cohen this year spent more money on a Super Bowl ad than the entire Oakland A's organization is spending on their roster on the field. We can't have that. It's an embarrassment to the game of baseball. The Oakland A's are going to be awful, and they're not going to be competitive, and we need better than that. And putting in a salary floor.
Explain that, by the way, just for some people who may not be
Yeah.
familiar with what a salary floor is.
So basically in baseball right now, there's no salary floor or salary cap, and I don't think there ever will be a cap because the union is very gung-ho about that. We need a floor, meaning each team has to spend at least a certain amount on their roster, right? The Oakland A's are spending like 40-some million on their entire team this year.
Which is less than certain one players actually make.
Correct.
And that is where it's not fair. You're not going to be as competitive as these other teams. You're not putting a good product out on the field. Invest in your team, invest in your players if you want to be an owner.
Right.
You got to do it.
So if you want to be an owner and all these owners are billionaires,
Yeah.
you're going to have to spend at least a certain amount on your team instead of spending as little as possible, profiting from the TV deals, profiting from merchandise. No. Salary floor, you have to spend at least a certain amount.
All right. Number 3.
Number 3, an appeal/challenge system on balls and strikes. Hear me out.
Okay.
I'm not saying automated strike zone. I do believe that's the direction the game is going. I will say that. What I would like to see first, and maybe even instead, is just an appeal system. And it's not going to take 2 minutes long. Everybody's seen, what's it called? Hawkeye tennis.
Okay.
Where in real time a player can challenge and 10 seconds later, we know the result and we see that system. Okay. They have that now.
Yes.
And they tested it in the Arizona Fall League. And a player challenged they called it a strike, challenged a strike. Within 2 seconds, it's up on the board. We see the picture of the pitch coming in.
Yep.
We see the strike zone.
Yep.
They realized it was a ball. Called it a ball. Runner gets first base.
It's great. I mean, we see it on the broadcast. We see the box, and we see it at home if it is a ball or strike. So I'm with you. If it's an automated system only on that challenge base, like it's not like ump goes to the screen, he's going to talk to someone back in New York.
No.
It will
That'll take too long.
only work if it's an automatic, and maybe each player gets one. And if you don't get it after that, then you don't get any more.
I've got it all figured out.
Okay.
Each team gets 3
Okay.
all game, so
Okay.
you can't just continually use it in the right situation.
Okay.
You know, bottom of the 9th.
3, even if you get all 3 of them, you can't keep going. Got it.
If you get it right,
Yeah.
you can keep it.
Okay.
But it just limits the bottom of the 9th. Angel Hernandez misses a call that's 18 inches off the plate, and the game is changed forever.
Yeah.
And it happens in real time. That's why I'm okay with it.
Yes.
I don't want to completely take out the home plate umpire. I don't want to completely take out the human element. I just want to get the egregious calls right and have a system, whereas if everybody in the world knows, well, that was a really bad call, and that really affects the game. Just being able to fix that one. There are plenty of times I'll be in the box, and I'll know a pitch was a ball, and I'll say to the umpire, that was a ball, and he'll say, yeah, I know, I missed that one.
Oh.
Well, okay, we need a way to just fix that.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
So
I can get behind that.
that's number 3.
I can get behind that. What you got at number 2?
Number 2, no more blackouts / more game accessibility.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. How is that not already a thing? Blows my mind.
Yeah. So I do know that this is in the process of being worked on.
Okay.
The commissioner has said as much, that his goal is to have games in one place. I don't know if you've seen what the MLS has done.
Oh, yeah, with
Apple.
Apple TV.
The MLS season just started. You fire up Apple TV, every single game is happening right there, and you can see them all, and you can go pick it. And baseball, for years, the problem has been blackouts, and we need to get rid of that. We need to fix this problem of, where do I even watch games? YouTube TV, no more MLB Network, no more. So it's like, okay, where do I watch games?
Also, their biggest issue is, how do we maintain fans, get new fans, get a younger generation of fans? This is how you do it.
Yep.
You need it in a streaming site somewhere where it's easily accessible to anyone, anywhere, anytime, in any state.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
So we need to fix that first and foremost. A younger audience, which is something that this show caters a lot to, is bringing changing the game of baseball and the way it's viewed. That's something that needs to change big time. The way that everything has been handled this offseason with YouTube TV, like cutting out MLB Network, and then it's like, okay, well, what do we do? Got to fix it.
Yeah. Bottom line.
Yep. That's
Take care
number
of
2.
your fan base. All right. What's number 1?
Number 1 for me.
Yeah.
This beats number 2.
Okay.
And this is a big one.
Okay.
I want cameras on umpire helmets.
So that kind of goes with the ball and strike challenges? No?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Explain.
I'll explain.
How?
No. I want people to have an up-close and personal view of how hard it is to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Or how hard a 100-mile-an-hour fastball comes in. Or how much a 92-mile-an-hour slider moves.
Okay.
Now, along with this, not just umpire cams, just more angles. More angles to watch games. If I turn on and watch a game from 1962, it'll be the same angles. One from out in center field, and then one from the two sides that get a righty and a lefty batter, and then you see the field. We got to figure this out.
Yeah.
We need cameras on the foul poles.
Yep.
So if a ball is right down the line, okay, guess what? We have an angle right there.
Yeah.
If a ball is maybe over the fence, maybe not, we're not trying to piece together angles to see if it hit a bar or if it hit the bleachers. We can like literally have a camera right there that sees it. But just better angles to see things and to appreciate, okay, wow, that ball is 100 miles an hour. And I feel like in my living room watching it, that is going to be very hard to hit. We've seen it a few times before. We should just commit to doing it. Put a camera right on top of the umpire's helmet, show it fairly often, and watch guys like Jacob deGrom and Justin and Shohei and all of these best pitchers in baseball. We get to see what the batter sees. How cool would that be?
I'm into it. So you're not only getting like an inside look from a player's perspective, but you're also getting a clear understanding of where the ball was hit. Was it foul? Was it fair? Did it go over the fence? So,
yeah.
I mean, we're living in an era where we have the technology. Just like blast the ballpark with cameras everywhere.
You know what I get tired of hearing?
What?
As somebody, I get tired of watching a game, looking on Twitter, and somebody will say, oh my God, why did he swing at that pitch? It landed in the grass. Take it from me, somebody that's swung at plenty of 55-foot pitches. It ain't easy to be expecting 100 and to get a curveball that's 86 and bounces in front of the plate. It's hard.
Yeah.
Okay? And we can see that firsthand. So I just think that would help change the game of baseball. It would help just put eyes that just all around would help the game.
Yeah. All of these 5 rules that you had are great because it's making the game more accessible, more inclusive, still moving faster, making it fun. More eyeballs on it.
Yep.
But let's move on to some big news that officially became official, I think, today. Today, Manny Machado and the Padres have come to agreement on an 11-year, $350 million extension, which is the 3rd largest extension in MLB history.
That's crazy.
We've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks for owners to put their money where their mouths are. The Padres are doing that. They are showing up and they are investing in their star players.
Also, we talked a lot about the Brewers last week.
Yeah.
Corbin Burns and how they handled that situation in arbitration. Mm-hmm. The Padres, since the new ownership has taken over, has never had a player go to arbitration. They just don't. They don't let it happen. They figure it out.
Yep.
And your star players, guess what? Okay, we don't want to piss you off over $750,000. We'll figure this out.
I also love that, like, Machado might have put the Padres on notice. I think it was Friday when he was talking to reporters saying he was planning to exercise his opt-out following the 2023 season. Like, you don't really want to go into this season knowing that you guys really have the complete team to make a deep playoff run. We saw it last year, and he is kind of the heart and soul and the star of your team. He put them on notice with all the reporters, and then they got it done a couple days later.
It all happened very quickly.
Really fast.
And this deal is very interesting. On the surface, it's 11 years, $350 million. But for me, it's all in the details.
Okay.
And I don't know how deeply you've dug into this.
No, give it to us.
But this contract is interesting.
Okay.
There's a $45 million signing bonus spread out over 11 years, right? 11 years is a long time. Manny Machado's 30, 31. So this contract's going to take him through
in his 40s.
41, 42.
Yeah.
Then the first 3 years of this deal, so the next 3 years, he's making $13 million a year. That's it. $13 million. 2026, he's making $21 million. In 2027 and on, he makes $35 million. So very, very heavily backloaded.
But that also allows the Padres to keep a lot of the guys that are coming up that they want to keep, like maybe a Juan Soto. If you want to keep him around, then you can give him a heavier front, lighter back end.
It allows so much possibility. And for me, paying your superstar $13 million for the first 3 years is nothing.
No, it's
now
a steal.
Imagine if there's a player that comes along that you really want to sign that's a two-way player, but you don't know how long he's going to be a two-way player, so you really want to heavily front-load his contract.
A Mr. Shohei Ohtani?
They leave that possibility open. They've been very vocal about wanting to sign Juan Soto long term.
Mm-hmm.
So the way this contract is set up, to me, just screams,
Yeah.
oh, we're about to do a lot of stuff.
And they probably explained that to Manny. He bought in.
Yeah.
He's in on the whole plan, and let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still going to get my money, but I'm giving you a window to create this World Series,
Right.
hopefully championship team, because that's the goal. That's what they're doing here.
This is a good tweet from Kevin Acey. He said Manny Machado will make $13 million a year for the next 3 seasons. $21 million in 26 and $35 million a year for the duration of his 11-year deal. $45 million signing bonus spread out over 11 years. This distribution would seem to greatly help Padres with payroll flexibility the next couple of years.
It's great. You know who else it helps, though? Because he was going to hit the free agency market this next offseason, and he was maybe number 2 player available right below Shohei Ohtani. So now that he is off the market, what does this mean for the free agency class this coming offseason?
So this coming offseason, there's a tale of two. There's the offense, and then there's the pitching. The offense, now that Manny Machado is off the board, is not what we have seen over the last few years. It really isn't. Shohei Ohtani, who is on both of those lists.
Yeah, top
Shohei
of
Ohtani is
number 1.
By far number 1 here. Then we go Teoscar Hernandez, Matt Chapman, Ahmed Rosario, who will be the top shortstop available, Rhys Hoskins. Good bats, but look at what we've been looking at the last few years. Ian Happ, Jesse Winker, Jock Peterson, JD Martinez, Michael Brantley are all names that will be on the free agent mark after this year, with Manny Machado off that list. Not great.
I think it means there's been so much talk. Is Shohei Ohtani going to get the biggest all-time contract, the first $500 million contract in baseball and sports? I think this helps his case.
Oh, yeah.
This helps Shohei Ohtani's case so much more to get that much more money. Because you're getting a 2-in-1 package.
If Shohei has a year even close to what he's had the last 2 years, his contract will start at $500 million. That's where the negotiations will start, which is insane.
I know.
And then you look at the pitching side of things on the free agent. Offense is bad. Pitching, very good. Shohei, Julio Urias, Blake Snell, Aaron Nola, Severino, Kershaw, Hader, Giolito. Really good names there.
Really good names.
Having Shohei at the top of both of those.
It's just going to be Shohei watch.
Insane.
It's just Ohtani watch. Okay, but let's move on, because with spring training games in full effect, sadly, we're also seeing some big injuries this weekend. One of the big ones, we saw Gavin Lux. Weird injury there, trying to avoid a ball, running from second to third, out for the season with a torn ACL.
Yeah, this is
That's
one of
brutal.
you never want to see this. And there's been a few of them, a few pretty key injuries. I
can't watch it.
Showed it on the screen, and Alex, I guess, saw it. It's bad. Torn ACL, out for the season. And the thing with an ACL, this is what
Yeah, see? You just saw it too.
The thing with an ACL is you hear out for the year, but you're not the same for a while. Ronald Acuna is finally seeming like this year. I think he'll be back. It's almost like a 2-year thing.
Oh yeah,
you're able to play that following year, but you're not the same guy.
No, the
Gavin
running,
Lux,
the moving, everything. It's
was running from second to third base. Kind of was running in a certain direction, and then it looked like the throw was going to come at him, and then it was just a really unfortunate situation with the third baseman throwing to second for a double play or to get the out at second. Gavin Lux trying to avoid it, steps in a weird way, tears his ACL, out for the year. So that's the biggest one.
Yeah, and Dodgers don't really have the depth right now to lose a guy.
No.
Dodgers might need to pick someone up, figure something out. They're going to move some things around, but unfortunate.
If only it was an offseason where there were 4-star free agent shortstops available.
Top 10.
That they could have gotten one.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So the Dodgers are in a really weird spot now.
Yeah.
Really weird, because they were already at a lack of depth kind of everywhere you look. Outfield, they didn't get Cody Bellinger back. So then okay, now Mookie. Anyway, this situation really messes them up.
Yeah.
Dave Roberts said that Chris Taylor will start a throwing program to play more shortstop. Mookie Betts playing more second base this season is also being discussed.
That's not what you want to hear.
It's not.
That's not you want to see a guy play their true position the entire season, and you want to have depth at that position, so you don't have to do something like this.
Yeah. Now I will say Mookie is a superstar and was a second baseman and can still play, in my opinion, a Gold Glove caliber second base.
Yeah.
But he's become one of the better outfielders in the game of baseball. And man, are you going to miss that arm in the outfield if he's not out there? And then now the depth in the outfield isn't as good. Chris Taylor and Max Muncy on the left side of an infield for me. Don't get me wrong. Love me some Chris Taylor. Travel ball teammate of mine for a year. I love the guy. But a left side of the infield that is now going to be Chris Taylor and Max Muncy after it's been, Justin Turner and Trey Turner and Justin Turner and Corey Seager. Like, what a 180 this is going to be for them this year.
Completely different lineup. But let's move down south a little. Padres news. Joe Musgrove's fractured his toe in the weight room. Another freak accident.
Musgrove fractured big left toe, weight room injury. Now, this isn't as serious. We're hearing a few weeks. There's not a set timetable. This isn't like
But that pushes back a pitcher from getting ready for the start of the season. 2 weeks. So that's pushing him back. Even if he's back 2 weeks, he still has to go through that entire program of ramping himself up.
So if I had to guess right now, Joe Musgrove isn't ready for opening day.
Yeah.
Tricky situation here. Padres injury. So now we're looking at the NL West. Dodgers in a bad spot. Padres with a starter. You know what? This opens the door for my Diamondbacks to slide right on in there this year.
You and
the
your
D-backs,
D-backs.
baby. Musgrove, few weeks.
Yeah.
Tyler Glass now.
Yeah.
This one
Oblique.
sucks, man. Coming back from his arm injury, comes back end of last year. We finally see him back. He's electric on the mound. Grade 2 oblique injury, 6 to 8 weeks.
And those you never really know. Obliques are so tricky because you can't put an exact timetable on it.
Yeah.
Because if you maybe come back a week too early, you can strain it again. There's just so many factors that come into it.
And again, to your point, it's spring training right now. So 6 to 8 weeks is when he can get back to beginning of spring training form.
Yeah.
Like, he hadn't made he's not to the point where he could throw 4 innings yet.
Yeah.
So in 6 to 8 weeks is basically when he starts his spring training.
Yep.
So that's going to be a while. And Lance McCullers, the Astros. Elbow sprain, don't know a lot there other than out for opening day, which that's not a good sign.
No, it's never a good sign. But you go into spring training, as soon as the games start to happen, you're going to get these injuries.
Yep.
And it's heartbreaking because you never want to see that. But it's going to roll over into the season. And then we're also going to see it roll over into the World Baseball Classic that starts in a week because we're seeing players slowly but surely have to drop out of the World Baseball Classic. Most recently, Suzuki with Team Japan.
Yeah, this isn't you got to know this is going to come.
Yeah.
You have a couple weeks of spring training and then guys report, say a Suzuki oblique injury, dropping out for Team Japan. This sucks. Team Japan was a top 3 team in this tournament. I still believe they are more than capable of winning, but this is a huge bat in the middle of their lineup. Huge. And they needed him. So now he's out of the tournament. So Team Japan of everybody, I think, has a cakewalk through at least the first round. You look at their pool that involves Korea, Australia, China, and the Czech Republic, who we're going to
We'll talk about a little later.
But where this really hurts them, I think Team Japan has the best pitching staff in the whole tournament.
Yeah.
But the offense, they needed Seiya Suzuki in the middle of that lineup. He is now out for Team Japan.
You think it has that big of an effect?
Yeah.
It will affect their chances to possibly win the whole tournament?
Yeah, it's just a big middle of the lineup bat. They have the talent. They're still good enough. They still have Lars Nootbaar, who will be at the top of that lineup somewhere. Shohei Ohtani, Murakami, the team is more than capable of putting up runs. It was just like it added so much depth. Now they don't have that offensive depth.
Now we have another team. Your sleeper, Mexico, also lost a couple MLB players that announced they won't be playing this weekend.
Yeah. I don't feel good about Mexico being my sleeper.
I don't think you can with these two guys
have
out.
Alejandro Kirk and Luis Urias out for their team, and that was a big.
Those are big.
Those are big.
Those are big hits.
Tough blow for Mexico, who will still be pretty good, but not near as good. So now I look at I look at Pool C which is where Team USA is involved. Let's count USA as getting through Pool C.
Yes.
I thought it was pretty easily, okay, Mexico can get through this. Now I'm putting Mexico and Canada kind of like on that same.
Okay.
That's going to be tough. So tough blow for Mexico there.
So you don't know if they'll make it out of pool play.
I think it's going to be very tough for them now.
Okay.
I think it's going to be very tough for them with Julio Urias out and now Kirk, and they're going to have some issues. But as I said, I'm just reminded here.
Yeah.
We're 7 days out
You!
from this tournament starting, and I am so pumped up for it. And also,
Yep.
everybody needs to stay tuned because we have some exciting news about the WBC.
Yes, we do.
That will be announced here at some point soon.
Yeah.
So the WBC is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we've already said we're going to be doing daily shows around it, right? This is your place to watch it. Fox.
Just stay here.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Okay. I won't
Flippin' Bats.
ruin any surprises. So let's move on. We've been doing tiers. Position tiers
Yes.
every week, and we are now to the DH tier.
Yes.
And so let's just get started with your elite. We got to know who's in here.
We have made it all the way
Yeah.
to the designated hitter. And in the elite tier, there's only two.
Okay.
Shohei Ohtani
It's fair.
and Bryce Harper.
Definitely fair.
Bryce Harper, I got a lot of flack for that because he wasn't in the outfield one. Look,
He
here.
was a
Listen
DH
here. He
last
DH'd
year.
the majority of last year. He's going to DH the majority of this year. So guess what? He's in the DH tier.
Yeah.
Sue me.
Yeah.
And he's in the elite DH tier. There's two of them. Shohei, who could very easily have a tier of his own.
Uh-huh.
But because this is DH, Shohei should just be on another planet. Because he's the DH, he's going to be in the elite tier here. So him, Bryce Harper, who he's a superstar and still there's an argument for him being an underrated player. He's unbelievable. Shohei and Bryce Harper, too.
I completely forgot that you would get some clapback for not having him in outfield. But when we just watched him play through the playoffs and through the postseason, he was the DH towards the end of the season. So it makes sense.
Alex, if you're ever forgetting that I'm going to get some clapback or pushback on anything, just be like, oh, wait, that's right. He will. Absolutely.
Just read my comment section.
I could say anything.
Constantly read my comment
It
section.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Hey, any kind of feedback, love, hate, people are watching, people are listening. It's a good thing.
Thanks, Alex.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
here to pump you up.
All right. On to our next category. No. Yes.
Yes.
Next category. Almost elite.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is where things got tricky because DH is a very tricky position. Almost elite. Michael Brantley, Giancarlo Stanton, JD Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Brantley is a guy that hits over 300 no matter what. I think Michael Brantley will hit over 300 when he's 50 years old.
Yeah. He hit 288 in 2022.
But he
Close.
Was out most of the year. What
That's
about
true.
the year prior?
Okay.
Do you have that?
Yeah,
in your
that
notes?
was just
Hit me with your
64
notes from
games.
2021
His
through-
career average is 298.
Can we not round up? A
If you
career
want-
average
If
of
you
298.
wanna,
From the year 2021 to 2017, which Alex is just omitting, he hit like 300 to 315.
okay.
Unbelievable. Last year, hurt the majority of the year.
Yeah.
288, 5 home runs in very limited time. Michael Brantley, timeout.
Yep.
Here's why I had to do this.
Okay.
This is an interesting caveat here. And I'll explain more when we get to really good. These three guys, Brantley, Stanton, and JD, separate themselves from that next tier. So I
Yeah.
didn't feel like it was okay to have them in a tier of really good with other players that I feel like they're better than. So I put them in a category above, which is almost elite.
Yeah.
So you can say what you want about the word elite, and are these guys really almost elite? They are better than the tier below.
And at one point, I think they were elite. A couple of them.
Yeah.
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 So they are. They're stuck. It makes sense. Like at different points in their career, I would have maybe had Stanton up in elite, and then
Well, yeah,
things
when
just
Stan
went
was hitting-
things just went
yeah.
really downhill really fast for him.
When
But
Stanton
he's
was-
still But
And he can still
he's
go.
still a great player.
Stanton, unlike
Yeah.
anybody in baseball, when he goes on a tear,
Unstoppable.
will just hit 500-foot homers and
Yeah.
hit like 10 in a week. It's unbelievable. Last year, not good. 211, but still found a way to hit 31 homers. So the power will always be there. JD Martinez, I think, is just he's always going to hit. The guy rakes. He had a down year as well, and it ended up at 274 with 16 homers. So these guys, Brantley, Stanton, and JD, are better than the rest in the really good category, which we will get to now.
Okay.
Really good. Justin Turner, Trey Mancini, Josh Bell, Daniel Vogelbach. Let's start with Justin Turner. Justin Turner was, well, now he's definitely in the DH category, but Justin Turner has taken a little bit of a step backwards in the last few years, continues to get a little bit older. Now with the Red Sox, obviously he continues to get older. That's a comment I could say about literally every person on this list. But now his age is really up there. What are we going to get from him in a Red Sox uniform? We don't really know. I do believe he still can be a really good hitter, but to what degree, who knows? Trey Mancini. Trey Mancini's year was a tale of two halves.
Okay.
With the Orioles and then with the Astros, he was just not what we expected him to be. So he ended up hitting 239 with 18 homers, but has the capability of being very good as well. Josh Bell, an all-star, unbelievable first half of the year, goes to San Diego, isn't as good. So what we're seeing with a lot of these guys is, okay, they performed really well, but then at a certain point in the year, either got traded or moved or really started struggling. So what are we going to get from them this year? But in my really good tier, which I would still feel really good about having these guys in my lineup, Justin Turner, Trey Mancini, Josh Bell, Daniel Vogelbach.
All right.
Any qualms about that one?
No, and I agree as to why you would have the three guys above them in almost elite, because they're a step above of those four guys you have in really good.
It's almost like
it's fair.
There could have been a world in which I changed the name from almost elite to like a little better than really good, but then it starts getting like,
No. You got to keep the tiers the same.
how wordy are we going to get,
No.
you know?
Let's move on to pretty solid.
Pretty solid. Bunch of names here.
Yeah.
Charlie Blackmon, Nelson Cruz, Matt Carpenter, Juan Yepes, Harold Ramirez, Brad Miller, Brandon Belt, Carlos Santana, Dom Smith.
Mm-hmm.
A lot to take in there, so I'll just talk about two guys.
Okay.
Nelson Cruz and Matt Carpenter.
All right.
Both new Padres. Never been a Padre, now they're Padres. I love the addition for these guys. One's left-handed, one's right-handed, and they'll probably platoon a good bit, and both still have the capability to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point, Nelson Cruz was probably in the almost elite category.
Yeah.
Matt Carpenter has been in the really good category for the majority of his career. Both went downhill. Nelson Cruz hadn't had his resurgence yet, but Matt Carpenter had a resurgence last year. He was unbelievable. I like these pickups a lot for the Padres. Nelson Cruz could go there and hit 150 with 6 homers, and I would still say he's a big addition for that team because of what he means to the roster. So DH was tough.
DH is tough. And I feel like with Nelson Cruz going into this new situation with the Padres and kind of being that veteran role model influence for someone like maybe a Juan Soto, a Tatis Jr., teaming up with Machado, there's a lot of potential for him to kind of become this new different player in that role and bring more than just what he does on the field.
Yeah. So a lot of guys in this a lot of guys in this entire tier on new teams. Dom Smith, now Nationals, Cruz, Carpenter, Brandon Belt, Mancini, Vogelbach, or not Vogelbach, but Justin Turner, JD. Man, a lot of change.
A lot of movement.
lot of movement.
A lot of movement.
Okay, that does it for the DH tiers. It is time. We still have bats to give away.
We do.
Alex, and wait until you hear the email that the producers came up for this one.
Okay.
First off, congratulations to Vicky Chang, who won the most recent bat. I believe that was number 4 of 6. So we still have 2 custom Flippin Bats to give away, and I mean this wholeheartedly. They are sick, and they are really, really cool. So congratulations, Vicky, for winning a bat. Now we're going to give away another one. So, as has been the case with the first 4, if you're listening, I'm going to give you an email address to send a screenshot that you are subscribed to Flippin Bats Pod. All you got to do is send a screenshot to this email. The email is
I'm looking at the screen.
ShoheiForever17 at gmail.com. Thank you.
I feel like you need to keep this
Producer
one.
Taylor.
I feel like you need to keep that email.
ShoheiForever17 at gmail.com. So take a screenshot that you're subscribed to the podcast. All you got to do is send the screenshot to that email, and you could win this really cool wood bat. 34 inches. 3430, I believe. It's custom Flippin Bats on the side. It's unbelievable. So if you're listening, win that bat.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. It's time for your favorite part of the show.
It is time for my favorite part. Name that team, and I believe we're switching it up a little bit.
So we're mixing it up. Beforehand, you were getting the entire infield, right? Where they were either drafted out of, signed out of, high school, college, or international player. But now you are getting the outfield. You are getting left field, center field, and right field. That's it. And you have to name the team. Hey, don't look.
So two less positions
2 less positions
than I had originally.
Yeah. But I think you'll be okay. You got to do better than last week.
Thanks.
It's only up. It's only up from here.
Definitely my worst week.
Are you ready for team number 1?
Yep.
Okay. Team number 1, left field out of Fresno State, center field out of high school in New Jersey, and right field out of Mississippi State. Name that team.
The only thing that's throwing me off here is left field being Fresno State. I mean, Fresno State's obviously Aaron Judge, but the left field is what's confusing me. Mississippi State, New Jersey in center field, Fresno State in left field.
I don't know. I'm trying not to react.
I'm
trying so hard not to react.
Is this the Yankees?
Is that your final answer?
Oh no, am I wrong?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're wrong. It's the Angels. Got Taylor Ward in left, Mike Trout, and Hunter Renfroe.
I didn't know Taylor Ward.
I just thought Mike Trout would have been a dead giveaway. High school in New Jersey.
Well, there's a bunch of high school guys.
Who else is center field, high school, New Jersey?
Well, I thought maybe Harrison. I don't know.
I don't know. He is like the
obviously
guy.
Shout out Millville.
Yeah, I spent time there.
You did?
Yeah, when he won Rookie of the Year, they flew me on a red eye and spent the weekend with his family.
I feel like that was the one everybody was saying I was definitely going to get. So
yeah, I know.
Now I'm really worried.
That's okay. That's okay.
To be fair, I didn't know Taylor Ward, left field.
This is also your first time in the new format. Okay, let's just
learning curve.
Let's just keep going. Let's not dwell on this one too much. Let's see if you can get team number 2. Are you ready?
Yep.
Left field at a high school in Canada, center field, high school in California, and right field, USC. Name that team.
St. Louis Cardinals?
Yeah, it is. Okay. See? You bounced right back. What was that? Not even 5 seconds?
Well.
How'd you know? What gave it away?
Well, Lars Nootbaar, who we just had on the show. Great interview, by the way.
Okay.
Literally last week, go listen to his conversation. And then left field,
okay.
Tyler O'Neill knew he was Canada.
Okay, cool. Well, you're 50-50.
Yeah.
You ready?
Is this the last one?
It's the last one.
Have? These go.
Yeah. Quick. Team number 3. Left field, high school in Washington. Center field, high school in Illinois, and right field, University of Virginia. Name that team.
UVA. Who's the UVA guy?
Not looking at you.
High school, UVA. For those that don't know, I grew up like 20 minutes from UVA. And I spent a lot of time up there. Right field, UVA. High school.
30 seconds.
I know. I can hear the timer.
You're welcome.
High school. Oh my God, this is hard. 20 seconds. Oh no.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds. You're obsessed with this team.
I'm obsessed with Diamondbacks. Yeah!
I was like, do I give him a hint?
Baby!
We talked about giving hints.
Let's go.
Was that what you were thinking beforehand?
No.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that was call a friend.
Shout out Diamondbacks. Shout out Corbin Carroll. I'm the driver of the bandwagon. Oh man, down to the wire there.
Yeah.
I was gonna get it without Alex. I knew that.
You just said you weren't going to.
No, I was going to.
Grade yourself. You phoned a friend.
No, I didn't. I knew it. Corbin Carroll, Jake McCarthy, UVA. Come on. I'm gonna give myself a B.
Okay, same. I was going to give you a solid B.
Okay, then B+.
That's good. Oh.
Yeah.
We can agree sometimes.
All right. Before we wrap up, Alex.
Yeah.
This is my favorite thing happening in the world right now.
It's so awesome.
This is the greatest thing ever. The World Baseball Classic is set to begin in 7 days from right now, and one of the teams that will be involved is the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic team is full of teachers, auditors, firefighters,
everyday people,
woodworkers,
everyday people,
and they're in the same pool as Team Japan. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The entire world should be rooting for the Czech Republic. This team is not like they qualified by beating, I forget who it was. They qualified for the tournament by beating a good team, and now they're involved in the same pool. They're going to face Roki Sasaki in the third game in Team Japan, who throws 102 miles an hour. And this team they're not professional baseball players. They're literally teachers, financial managers, and woodworkers. And they're going to go out and face some of the best players in the entire world. They're going to be on the same field as Shohei Ohtani, and this guy's going to have to get a substitute teacher for his 4th grade English class.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So how many runs do we think that they're going to give up in their first game against Japan? Over under 10.
Well, there is a slaughter rule as well.
At 11?
It's not called a slaughter rule anymore. What do the kids
Mercy.
call it? Mercy rule.
Mercy rule.
Come on.
It's nicer.
Well. They're going to get mercy, but
you think that this will be our first look at the mercy rule?
I think it'll be 10-0.
Okay.
I think they won't score. I hope they do.
I'm going to go on a limb and say they're going to get a run.
How incredible.
They're going to get a run.
Oh, yeah, they're going to score off Roki Sasaki. Come on. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
Not to
I'm going to have
win.
some faith.
I just want them
I'm Czech, so I'm going to
I want them to put up a fight.
Yeah.
But
let's see
so
it.
Cool.
Go watch the video. It's on Ben's. He tweeted it. They're all sharing their names, what they do for a living.
It's so cool.
Incredible.
The game of baseball just continues to impress globally. It's incredible. It's America's pastime, but now you have Team Czech Republic playing Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic. It's going to be awesome. So great show. A lot to cover. Alex and I will be back at you a lot. So listen, stay tuned here. Big announcement coming. WBC is going to be a blast. It all starts March 7th. Thank you all for listening. Alex, this one, as always, has been a lot of fun. Very beefy episode.
Yeah, we always have a great time.
Shout out to our audience.
Yeah, Mom and Dad.
The audience here.
Mom and Dad Verlander.
Crowd. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you subscribe. And if you do, go win the bet. Shohei forever. flippinbats17@gmail.com. Make sure you subscribe, like anywhere you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're also on all social media. Follow along everything we do there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can watch everything on YouTube as well at Flippin Bats Pod for all of them. Well, we're 7 days away. Spring training is in full force. So until next time, this has been another episode of Flippin Bats.